Before religion made him a villain, he was the torch of awakening. The name you've been taught to fear, Lucifer, once meant something entirely different. Lightbringer, bearer of dawn, the one who challenges ignorance by bringing illumination. But somewhere in the corridors of history, that light was twisted into shadow. And perhaps in losing the true meaning of Lucifer, humanity lost something of its own light as well. If you stay until the end of this video, you might begin to see why this ancient figure, misunderstood, misnamed, and miscast, may hold one of the most powerful keys to spiritual awakening. So let's begin where every myth begins, in the dark. Long before Christianity, long before the idea of a fallen angel, there was the morning star, Venus. To the Babylonians, it was Ishtar. To the Greeks, Phosphorus. To the Romans, Luciferus, the light-bearer, the one who rises before the sun, heralding the dawn. In the natural world, that's all Lucifer ever was, a symbol of the planet Venus shining before sunrise. But mythology never stays still. It evolves. It's interpreted. It's weaponized. In the Hebrew texts, the prophet Isaiah used the metaphor of the morning star to describe the fall of a Babylonian king. Not a spirit, not an angel, but a mortal tyrant brought down by arrogance. Centuries later, when the Bible was translated into Latin, the name Lucifer appeared, and from there, a linguistic seed was planted. A few hundred years later, Christian theologians, especially after the fall of Rome, began interpreting Lucifer not as a poetic name, but as a being. The rebellious angel, the prideful one who defied God, the one cast out of heaven. And so, the light-bringer became the fallen one. The morning star became the prince of darkness. And the greatest paradox in theology was born. The light that illuminates was now the light to be feared. But let's ask a forbidden question. What if the story of Lucifer isn't a tale of evil at all, but an encrypted myth of consciousness itself? You see, every ancient mystery school spoke of light and darkness, not as moral opposites, but as metaphors for awareness and ignorance. Light was understanding, darkness was unconsciousness, and the journey of the soul was not obedience, but awakening. In that light, Lucifer's rebellion takes on a different meaning. He's not defying divine authority, he's defying illusion. He descends into matter, into shadow, to bring awareness where there was none. To ignite consciousness in creation. Sound familiar? It's the same pattern we see in Prometheus, who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity. It's in Enki, the Sumerian god who gave knowledge to mankind against the orders of the higher deities. It's even in Jesus, who brought the light of truth and was crucified by the powers of ignorance. Over and over, we see the same story. The light descends into darkness and is misunderstood for it. Let's slow down here. Think about it. How does light actually work? The moment light appears, shadows are created. To bring light into the world means to also reveal what hides within it. So maybe Lucifer, the light bringer, isn't the destroyer. Maybe he's the revealer, and that revelation can be terrifying. Because real light doesn't comfort, it exposes. It shows us our masks, our fears, our false gods. That's why the archetype of Lucifer isn't evil, it's uncomfortable. He represents the moment when truth breaks the illusion. When we awaken and realize the world we were told to worship was never the real one. Pause for a second. If you've ever gone through a dark night of the soul, a time where everything you believed fell apart, that's Lucifer's fire. The light that burns away illusion so that real vision can emerge. Now, the ancient alchemists understood this perfectly. In alchemy, there's a secret stage called the black phase or nigredo. It's the point where everything dissolves, the ego, identity, the false gold. It's the descent into shadow where true transformation begins. Guess what symbol they used for that phase? The morning star, the hidden sun, the same light that falls before the dawn. Lucifer wasn't the devil of alchemy. He was its beginning, the spark that starts the process of inner rebirth. But here's where it gets even more interesting and dangerous. Mystics throughout history who saw Lucifer as the inner light of consciousness were persecuted. The Cathars, the Gnostics, the Hermetics, the early Rosicrucians all held variations of this idea, that light exists within the human soul, not outside it. That salvation isn't given, it's realized. And that the greatest deception is to fear your own divine spark. That's why this archetype had to be demonized. Because a human being who sees their own light cannot be controlled. A being who recognizes the divine within has no need for external authority. And that not pride, not rebellion is the true threat. Lucifer is not the enemy of God. He is the enemy of ignorance. When Carl Jung explored the idea of the shadow self, he touched on the same current of wisdom. He said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." To make darkness conscious, that's the Luciferian act. It's not worshiping darkness, but redeeming it, understanding it as part of the whole. Because until you own your shadow, it owns you. And maybe that's what the ancient initiates meant when they whispered that Lucifer is the light of the earth. Not a deity to serve, but an archetype to integrate. The spark that reminds us, you are not fallen. You are awakening. Let's bring it closer to home. Look around at our modern world. The media, politics, religion, even the algorithms that shape our attention, all thrive on fear and obedience. They tell you what to think, what to fear, what to desire. They punish questioning. They demonize rebellion. Sound familiar? The archons of the modern world still exist, but now they wear digital crowns. And once again, lightbringers are cast as heretics. But you, the seeker, are beginning to remember. And that remembrance is fire. Because every time you question the narrative, every time you choose awareness over comfort, every time you dare to think for yourself, you are embodying the Luciferian spirit, the will to know. So maybe the real Lucifer isn't a fallen angel, but a mirror, one that asks, will you keep following the false light, or will you ignite your own? Before we close, take a breath, because this isn't about worship. It's about understanding. Every myth, every symbol, every name points to something inside you. Lucifer, Prometheus, the morning star, they're all code for the same truth. Illumination comes at a cost. You must lose the comfort of darkness to gain the clarity of dawn. And maybe that's the real meaning of fall. Not a punishment, but a descent, a journey into matter so that the light could know itself through you. If that resonates, you're not alone. Thousands of seekers are remembering the same spark, scattered through the ages, awakening again. And if you felt that inner flame flicker tonight, share this video with another seeker. Because light shared grows stronger. Subscribe to Occultus, where we continue to reclaim the knowledge that was buried, twisted, and forbidden. Together, we turn darkness into illumination. And remember, the morning star still rises, even after the darkest night.